Good afternoon and welcome to my channel once again. This is going to be a relatively short video. What I wanted to share with all of you is my take on the small workbench. Now, there is thousands and thousands of videos out there on small workbenches, but as a football coach, I remember going to football clinics a lot, and you hear a lot of the same thing, but every once in a while you find just a little nugget of gold that you can use back with your own team. So I'm hoping that in this short video, because I'm not going to go through a lot of the building process, I'm just going to explain to you what was different about my build for this small workbench, and hopefully you can glean something from it that will inspire you to build another small workbench or just do it differently. I made a few mistakes while I was doing this workbench, so I'm just going to go ahead and share with you a few things on here that I think are different than what I've seen on different types of videos from different people. So the first thing I want to share with you is the fact that this workbench, small workbench, is made out of plywood. I've seen people use, oak, maple, Doug fir. I've seen a couple people take Doug fir, which we used to use as framing material, run it through a planer, get the edges smooth, glue them up, and then that's what they built their workbench out of. Well, this was just scrap wood, and as you can see, I went through the process of gluing. What I have here is three pieces of 3/4 inch ply, and this is just some oak veneer plywood that I glued together, laminated, and then I put the edges on here, and you can see the edges, and it's just about a 1/2 inch or so piece of oak around it to hide the laminate part of it all the way around it. The other thing that I did that was different is, let's see if I can show this to you on camera, which is right here. The legs that I put on it, this is actually white oak, and I glued 3/4 inch pieces together and then cut these out on a bandsaw. Now this particular right here at the ends, that's just a 3/4 inch piece of plywood, so I thought it'd be a good idea to put some screws in there just to make it a little bit stronger, and then I have 4 screws that hold it to the table. It's got some glue in there, so I screwed it all down, and you can see I didn't do a lot of work on the bottom of it. Okay, so I had a little snafu as I was making the beginning of this video. My battery in my GoPro actually went out, so here I am again, another day, different shirt. It seems like the norm when I make videos. I was showing you the backside of my workbench. There's a couple things that I want to just show everyone. Now, a lot of people put these bolts on with a bolt that they drill into the back side. The thing about that is that it takes a lot of work, and what I ended up doing, and I'll do a close-up of this in another video so you can see it better, but the bolt goes through. I just drilled on my drill press a hole in this all thread that fit a screw, and I just drilled the screw all the way through. So the screw is in the plywood and also through the all thread, and that's what's holding this bolt on. There's no glue, there's no epoxy right here, so it worked out a lot easier, and I thought that was a great idea. I thought it was a great idea because a lot of times people will drill with a Forstner bit and then chisel out a square notch so they could put a nut down there and then run a nut through there in order to hold this bolt. This just worked out a lot easier because it just, you know, over to the drill press, drill a hole in the bolt, then drill a hole through that, or then put a screw through that. Bolt holds the all thread inside this piece for this Moxon vise, which is on the side. Now, I didn't redo these handles. They're handles off a different Moxon vise, and I just used them on this one just to get this done. Okay, so that's one thing. Now, okay, so the other thing that I think is a must for people that build these is that, I don't think I've heard it mentioned, but if you don't make the holes that go into this piece right here straight, then this is going to wobble and you're going to have issues with that. The first one I did wobbled a lot more than this because I was in a hurry and wanted to get it done. This one actually is a lot better, you know, and it works pretty good. So make sure that when you drill these holes on this second piece that they're straight, that they don't vary in width or size, that's a nice straight cut, because that's going to make this work a lot better. The other thing I did was these bench dogs I just turned on the lathe. Now there's thousands of videos on bench dogs made out of wood or metal, but this was just easier for me, and I as you can see, most people who are woodworkers are partial to walnut, and I like the contrast of the different color wood. So simple, just a simple round bench dog that goes in the top. This is one that's flat to give you a better surface when you're trying to hold something down on your small workbench. So I thought that, you know, there's a lot of different ones. These are just simple, and you know, they do the job for what I need it for. And let me just say, I don't do a lot of woodworking with hand tools, you know, as far as, you know, bench plane or chisels, but my goal is to do some fine woodworking, and that's what I call fine woodworking. I'm a carpenter by trade, and we used to call ourselves wood butchers, and that means that, hey, we're not building a piano. Well, through the years, I've been trying to get better at woodworking, and this is just kind of a natural progression. Once you decide that that's what you want to do, is get into fine woodworking, you're going to do a lot more precise and technical things that, you know, really lend to a study of woodworking as a craft. So this is part of that. I also want to show you this bench dog. Now, it's simple in its design. It's just made out of maple. I turned this dowel on the lathe and then cut this out on a bandsaw, and I put this self-sticking rubber pad that I bought for another project, and it works really well, just like any other type of bench dog. And you know, they're used to hold pieces of material down flat on your workbench. You know, they sell the metal ones, but I couldn't see purchasing a metal bench dog. It just, to me, it's mixing of the two mediums, and there's times for that, but I don't think that this is one of them. I really believe that these wooden bench dogs are going to do the job that I need as I continue to get better with using hand tools. So the idea is the same, right? And I'm actually quite happy with, you know, the design. And I didn't do this design on my own. Let me just say that. I've seen guys on the internet, and you know, YouTube is amazing because you can, I tell my students in the classroom this all the time, you can learn anything you want to learn on YouTube. Some people have coined it YouTube University, and it's just an amazing thing when people are willing to share their skills and their learning process. I tell my students all the time, learn something new every day. And I think that we should all take that to heart. And if we're a woodworker or in anything you do, you don't want to be stagnant, and you don't want to get to the place, and I've said this as a coach, if you get to a place where you think you know everything, then you become of no use. So never allow yourself to get to that place. Always continually try to learn. If it's something totally new, or if it's something that you already know how to do, but you're trying to perfect it. And there's a couple reasons for that. For me, it's like you want to keep your mind fresh, and you want to keep it active. Anytime your mind begins to stagnate, there's a danger in that, especially when it comes to Alzheimer's or Parkinson's disease or anything like that. You want to continually stimulate your mind and not let it wither. By all means, learn something new every day. And I'm gonna stop with that. This is my small bench project. I hope you got something out of this video. Thank you for watching. God bless. We'll see you on the next one.